which you can adjust on your little device. Now I'm really excited to welcome Veit Lindau, teacher, speaker and author and coach in the German-speaking area. He stands for the integral, holistic self-fulfillment. He is a director of Human Trust, a digital platform with over 9,000 members. We will talk about intelligence and creativity today, the intelligence of the field. Welcome, Veit.
Ich wünsche euch einen wundervollen Nachmittag.
I wish you a wonderful, a pleasant afternoon. So I want to invite, while people are still dropping in, I want to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing this, and just to fully arrive here in this room, here in this afternoon, here in our time together. I want to invite you to give yourself 2-3 deep breaths. And if just in case there is something like a little afternoon sleepiness, to exhale it, then to inhale again. Keep your breath for a moment, and while you're exhaling, to arrive in an even deeper presence here and now on the chair that you're sitting on. I want to invite you to take a third really deep breath, to hold your breath for a moment, and while you're exhaling, to allow your consciousness to arrive here in this present moment, fully and totally on this chair on which you are sitting, in this room in which you are, with the people that surround you, with all the noise that you can hear. And as I said, just if it's comfortable, if you feel comfortable with it, then close your eyes just for a moment and look back on this day from the moment this morning when you got up until now. I invite you to go back to that moment this morning when you opened your eyes, when you were lying in bed. I don't know what was your basic feeling for this day. Was there a kind of a prayer, a wish, an intention for this day? Remember your way here in this beautiful hall, the inspiring speakers until now, which you've heard. And I want to invite you to look back on all these moments of inspirations and just to briefly check in what has touched you personally, not only intellectually, but really what touched you in a way that you could feel that what you're hearing now, what you're seeing now, that's just for you. And what's happened since this touch?
So erlaubst du dir, diesen Wellen des Bewusstseins in dir weiter nachzugehen.
And you allow this vibration to expand in your consciousness, in your system, so that what we are sharing here is not just another congress, but that it can touch you, reach you, and has a transformative effect on your life. Then I invite you to focus on your heart for a moment and to ask, let a question arise for the second half of the day. may be a wish, it may be a question. So, if you come from a point that every second of your life is infinitely precious, what is your deepest wish for your time being here? What can be fulfilled? What can happen that tonight when you go to sleep, you feel like, wow, today I've really lived. I am fulfilled. And how does it feel? How does it feel when you have this one wish, when you really take it into your heart, when you connect with yourself beyond your head?
Ich danke dir sehr für das kleine Experiment, für dein Vertrauen, dass du die Augen geschlossen hast.
Thank you very much for your trust, for trusting me, for guiding you in through this experiment. So you can open your eyes again, so you can enjoy me and all my magnificence. I hope you're well awake, because I want to share something with you, talking about something which I cannot talk about. So I will talk about something for half an hour, about something which we cannot talk about this field, this ominous field we've heard about today already. Of course, there are super spiritual maps, psychological maps. We can talk to quantum physicists and exchange theories and concepts, and at the end you get the impression of having you got a lot of information, you received a lot of information for your mind, but you're still confused and haven't got a clue. So this is not what I'm intending, because I want to meet you from a human to human, from particle to particle, and I want to invite you for this half hour to experience this field now. One thing that really helps is the combination of two compounds of consciousness: relaxation and awakeness. What we know in our culture, what we know well, is either to be really tense, and when we are tense, we're up in our head, and when we release this tension, this tightness, then we feel sleepy. So what I invite you to do now is to be as relaxed as possible and as awake as possible. And I ask you, I request you, I bid you to listen to me, not only with your intellect, but just to feel, to share the presence, so when you get out of here, that you can have an experience. It doesn't matter whether you're a Buddhist, a Christ, a Christian, or an atheist. I haven't met anybody who wouldn't have been connected with this field. So many things happen in our lives which we cannot explain, so-called coincidences. Someone calls, and the moment before you thought that the phone's going to ring, and then you have these live decisions. Very often people ask me in my counseling sessions, and should I be with this partner or not, or go on with this partner or not, and suddenly the decision happens, it appears, and you can't explain how it does come about. Or if you're a businessman, the really cool, really crazy, the really great decisions that you've taken, it hasn't come out of a business plan. I've been doing business for 25 years, and until now, I haven't made one single business plan. But as soon as I sit down and start wrapping up things into numbers, it doesn't happen, because it's not me. So when you remind all those really important life decision that you've taken, you will notice that it wasn't you, like they just came about and you don't know how it happened. The field does touch us when we have sex and are not only in it with our dick, but also with our whole heart. And you realize that you're holding yourself in your arms when you're with your partner. One of the main reasons for saying you, like you personal, you German, to you is that the more that I experience the field, the less I feel separate and the more I feel one with everybody. So what does it do to you that there's this guy standing here in front and saying, I know deeply that I'm talking to myself here, that everybody in this room here is my own self. I have brought a blanket to explain something which we cannot talk about. If this is this ominous field, then everybody here in this room is just all these beautiful bodies sitting here are just like a nipple on this blanket, a form coming out of the field, appearing at form for a moment and disappearing at some time. So one possible reaction to this is, you could say, yes, fight, we're all one. If you belong to those people who believe in this, believe in the field, then I want to invite you to just examine if you live this truth. Just a spiritual belief in unity, or it is the next stumbling stone to really experience it. Or the second possible reaction is, what's that esoteric freak? And I have the advantage that I was born and raised in the eastern part of Germany. So I was born and raised an atheist, and I kind of stumbled into the field. I haven't started to meditate out of free will, if you so want, because I meditated for the first time in my life because my girlfriend went to this meditation workshop, and so I thought I couldn't let her go alone. So I was 10 days in this meditation course, which was really difficult for me for most of the time, but there were also these experiences where I completely disappeared and I was fully awake. And when you start to dive into the field, then at some point you feel that all the people are crazy who believe in separation. Because when we really look at it, this illusion crumbles totally. It starts with a vibration of the sound, so words come out of my mouth, hopefully cool thoughts translated into cool words, vibration reaching your ears, and hopefully inducing cool stuff within you. So vibration connects us, sound connects us. Your emotional vibration does connect with your neighbors. This is not esoteric, it's not esoteric bullshit, but it's scientifically proven. So, how often do you have this feeling of, here I am, and there is the other, I and the world, I and my partner, I and my employees. So what is this I sitting on a chair, being what we cannot talk about. We do know now that what we believe to be our personality, our ego, is just an algorithm, is a story that we keep repeating to ourselves. And we do not realize that we are permanently part of this or connected to this field. So the last big point is our body, that we do not believe in this field. I always call it lovingly this little sweet meat dumpling. So when I ask someone, where are you now? Then they point at their own physical body. And I invite you to look left and right and look at all those sweet meat dumplings in the room and to ask this question, not with your intellect, but in a meditative way. How do you know now where you start and the person besides you starts? Where is the limit? Well, you can say, fight, I see the limit. A quantum physicist would say, no. A quantum physicist would say that this meat dumpling consists of 99.999 and so on % of empty space. So if you would take out of this empty room, out of your physical body, then we would have this little grain of dust, of matter. Then we could ask, is that me? This little grain of dust? And the quantum physicist would say, no. This is the dualism of the particle and the wave. So what we are, or what we think we are, it's blinking, it's there and then it's away, and it's there and it's away. Well, we can't understand it, can we? But sometimes when I'm in an argument with my wife, then I remember that I'm just having an argument with a particle being. So it appears so huge, it appears so maybe even threatening, because I'm focusing my thoughts on it so intensely. So some of you who are really scientifically oriented, when we go deeper and deeper and deeper, nothing remains. But every physicist would agree that there is no possible separation. When I breathe, then I exhale about 10 by 22 atoms, and if I have a bad breath, then it's bad for you. So we live in this huge quantum soup, as quantum physicists say. And this field has three main qualities. Firstly, it's omnipresent, it's everywhere. For me, it's really fascinating, because especially in Germany, we're afraid of transparency. I'm actually convinced that we've always known everything about everyone, because every embarrassing thought that I've ever had on the toilet, it's in the field. So in this little particle of nothing, the information of the whole quantum field is entailed. I cannot imagine this, but I don't need to travel to India to find the next good, creative, innovative, intuitive inspiration for my business, because it's always here and now. And the third quality that I love most, it's omnipotent. The field doesn't know, it doesn't work. So if you want to know whether you plugged into the field, then you can test yourself. If you think like it doesn't work or I cannot, then you're not connected. So it's omnipotent. And if you've read spiritual writings, then it may ring a bell in your head, and you might say, well, I've heard that, I've read that, because 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago there were people who did not have science, but they just sat down and shut up and looked at themselves and explored themselves. I call those people mystics, because these are people who closed their eyes and said, I don't want to believe, I want to experience. And most interestingly, those people had the same experience as the quantum physicists find today. So the mystics of all times, they always tried to express that. When you sit down, when you shut up, when you really look at yourself, when you dive into yourself down. And thank you for the presentation before, because it clicked once again with the brain, because it illustrates so well that at some moment you just dive into the field, you fall into the field, and you realize that it has three qualities. Sat, it's omnipresent. Chit, it's all-knowing. And Ananda, it is full of bliss. Why? Because it's omnipotent. Why is this? Because I realize, I know deeply that I am a multiverse and I can expand endlessly. So what an Indian mystic expressed thousands of years ago is the same thing that quantum physicists find today. It's so fascinating. And the cliche that I often hear from my clients is, oh yes, the banker. But why is it that bankers and scientists today start to get interested in this field? Because our rational mind has actually kind of is at its end. My little human brain can only digest, can only process 40 of about 11 million pieces of information that we receive in every second. When it comes to decisions like how to develop my business, should I enter in a relationship with this partner or not, our rational mind cannot give us answers. Why now? Because now complexity is so much growing, and I do not know anyone who doesn't say, I'm not overwhelmed by the amount of decisions that I have to take every day. So there is one possibility to say, I will leave my decisions up to artificial intelligence, and our smartphones do a huge amount of work in our lives already, and it's gonna get more. But the good news is that you are part of this field here and now, and it's easier than easy to plug into this field, and if you have the trust to do so, you can receive, not even take or make decisions, but receive decisions. So my invitation is to, during this whole Congress, this workshop, besides all of this knowledge that you're receiving, this intellectual knowledge, to relax. And because the two components, to repeat, that you need is relaxation and awakeness. So who wants to make an experience of this? We will dive into this deeper in my workshop. I brought you just a little piece of a movie by Robert Redford, and superficially seen, it's about playing golf, but in depth, it's a modern interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita, and there's this situation in which the caddy explains to the golfer the field. Do you see Bobby Jones? Okay, let's see. Make space for him. Go for it, Bobby. Care for your motion. It's like you were looking for something, and then it is as if you would find it. Do you feel this field, the field he connects with? He has to decide for one hit, and there are so many different possibilities, but there is only one hit which is authentic, which is one with the field, which is in harmony, and this single one strike is in harmony with him. The strike finds him. It's just like stepping to the side and let the strike find you. You see, he's found his field. Do you see the flag? It's not a dragon which you shall slay. It's just like everything that is becomes one. This world, you have to look for it with your soul. Just go and feel with your hands. Your hands are wiser than your head ever will be. I cannot guide you. I cannot lead you. I can only hope to bring you on the right path. There's only you, the ball, the flag, and what you are. Look with your hands and do not think. There is only you, only one strike, which is in total harmony with the field, and there is your harmonious strike. So there's only you and the field.
mit mildem Auge siehst.
If you see the world with a tender eye,